Greetings and welcome to another edition of Caring for Seniors. I am your host, Adrienne Houghton. Each week, I sit down with Dave Stieglitz, who is the president of Oasis Senior Advisors Jacksonville, and we discuss all aspects of senior living. Today, we're delighted to welcome into the studio Michelle McCormack, who is with Millennium Physician Group. Welcome, Michelle.
Welcome. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So, just tell us a little bit about what is Millennium Physician Group. It obviously has something to do with doctors.
It does. It has a lot to do with healthcare. So a Millennium Physician Group is kind of an umbrella for a physician group based out of Fort Myers, Florida. Been around since 2008. And in the Jacksonville region, we have 25 offices, mostly primary care. So that is where we have internal medicine and family medicine physicians. We have MDs, DOs, PAs, and nurse practitioners as our providers in the Millennium umbrella. We also have specialists as well. In the Jacksonville area, we have an endocrinologist and a rheumatologist now, in addition to our primary care offices. But down south in Fort Myers, we have a larger group of cardiologists, pulmonary doctors, PTs, so the growth continues.
And now you're an accountable care organization.
That is correct.
Would you like to explain to the viewers exactly what that means?
Yeah, so it's an ACO, which it's kind of complicated. So I can give you like the very little version of an ACO, but it is an accountable care organization, which means our purpose as our physicians and in each one of our offices is to save you money. We want to keep our patients out of the ER. And what that means is we're here for you 24/7. We have nurses on call. We have home health care that will come to your house. If you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you're feeling like your blood pressure is a little out of control, we have a phone number that you can call. It's a really great opportunity for you to stay out of the ER, stay healthier by staying out of the ER while keeping the costs down. We work very closely with Medicare, and in the United States, we're the number 2 ACO in the country, which means Medicare reimburses us back for saving them money every year. And then in that reimbursement, we take that and divvy it out to our entire staff.
Wow.
And bonuses. Awesome. So yeah, it's a really nice organization to be a part of. But the ACO is just something that a lot of people don't know about.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of that hidden gem part of our company.
Your clientele then is mainly seniors.
Correct.
Okay. We're not a pediatrician.
No, we have some nurse practitioners that like to see the families, the 12 and overs, but we don't offer like childhood immunizations. So yes, our main focus is going to be that patient that's aging into Medicare or that 65 and over patient.
And when you say you'll go to their home, that could be their home. It could be an assisted living community or other senior community.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And we have several physicians who would love to be going into the assisted living facilities, into the independent care, into the memory care, because this is what they went into medicine for, was to treat these seniors who are otherwise not getting good health care.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
So are you actually saying that somebody who starts off with a Millennium physician and then they go into residential care can then continue to have their own doctor follow them through?
Yes, that is true. We don't have a lot of physicians that are doing that, but I know each one of our doctors would love to be able to have
the opportunity
happen. Right, of course. So yes.
So let's talk about you mentioned that your base is in Fort Myers, but where are the MPG offices located?
Right. So in the 5-county region, we have an office in Baker County, which is in McLenny. We have 3 in Clay County, so 2 on Kingsley right now and 1 in Middleburg. We have 1 in Ponte Vedra. Then we have 4 offices right now just growing in Nassau County. So 3 in Fernandina Beach, 1 in Yulee, and then the rest are all over Duval County. So total, we have 25 offices in the 5-county First Coast region.
And you are just a Florida-based?
Yeah, at this time. There's growth potential maybe into Georgia, Alabama, Texas, but for now, we're in 19 counties in the state of Florida with over 600 providers, over 150 offices servicing 500,000 people. 500,000 patients.
So what do you think makes Millennium different from some of the other practices?
I think as an independent-based physician group, it gives people more options. At one point, all of our doctors in this region we're part of the Baptist system, part of the Mayo system, part of the Memorial system, even Ascension, St. Vincent's. And these doctors at one point or another went off as independent groups. Well, now they're part of a bigger independent group, which is allowing our doctors to be doctors. It's allowing the doctors to service their patients, to have time with their patients, and not worry about the insurance and the overhead and the staffing. All of that falls under the Millennium umbrella.
So basically what you're saying is that they're not attached anymore to Mayo or
Right.
to Baptist or to Ascension. It's wherever the doctor feels you're best suited to be.
Right, and we do refer to those big box hospitals and to other referral agencies in town, or whether if you need a specialist in oncology, for example, and you choose your doctor to be a Mayo doctor, our doctors will refer you there.
So as opposed to someone going to a doctor that's in the Baptist network that's only going to refer within the Baptist
Correct.
network, your patients have the ability to, well, I really do want to be referred to the Mayo system.
Right.
Or the St. Vincent system or
Right.
the Baptist system.
Yeah, and we're one of the largest independent healthcare-based groups in the state of Florida. So
Golly gee.
Yeah.
I mean, that's quite something, isn't it?
it is.
Now, you mentioned specialists. Did you actually talk about exactly how many specialists we have in this particular area?
Right. In the Northeast Florida region, we have 2 specialists. They just joined the Millennium team in September. One is a rheumatologist, which will help your aches and pains, joints, arthritis care. And then another specialist is a endocrinologist who will help manage your diabetes and so forth and so on. So they're both new to this area and open to accepting new patients all the time. You don't have to be a Millennium patient to see one of our specialists.
Do you consider DOs to be specialists?
No, they're considered physicians.
They are. So let me ask you a question, because I know that there are some people out there who use a lot of chiropractors, but actually DOs are slightly better than a chiropractor, really, aren't they?
Yeah. DOs go to med school. They're
Yeah.
just doctors of osteopathy versus your medical doctor. So, they're still treating patients the same, but very much maybe in more of a homeopathic way, or in more of a direction that's not necessarily medicine based.
Right. So they could crack your back if you needed them to. I mean, everyone need their back cracked.
I haven't been to the doctor yet that said, "Hey, I want to crack your back," but it's I have no idea. They could. They very well could. Or they could refer you to a chiropractor in their network.
I know it's one of those things that and I say this because purely and simply, I go to an osteopath
Okay.
to get my back cracked, and not a chiropractor. The chiropractors tend to want to keep you coming back, where the doctor wants to deal with the situation. And then you're,
Right.
now you have to manage it.
And that's where your DO is definitely going to be, in that same category that you're just talking about versus your chiropractor.
Sure. So now let's talk about bad insurance.
Okay.
How do people know whether Millennium's going to take their insurance? I mean, it's a huge problem, isn't it?
It is a huge problem. And the thing about insurance is it really varies by county. So regardless, wherever your doctor is, depends on the insurance in that county. And, we're in kind of open enrollment right now for Medicare, for people aging into Medicare who want to make their Medicare changes between, the middle of October till the beginning of December. And so we have a really great program called Medicare Connect, and it will help you. It'll take you to our website. It'll take you to a page where you can put in your insurance, and it will help you locate a doctor with that insurance. Millennium now in the 5-county region up here, we do take just about everything. A lot of our patients have TRICARE because we're a heavy military base. Humana, Aetna, United Healthcare, Florida Blue. So, and then all the ones in between that I have no idea what they are because there's so many options. But yeah, the best way to do it is to call one of our offices, say, I have X, Y, and Z insurance. Do you take that? And likely the answer will be yes.
Goodness me. I mean, you're dealing with these problems with insurance on a daily basis,
all the time.
really.
Sure, I have
I'm
clients
sure.
that come in, especially they relocate from other counties or they relocate from out of state, and we've got to find the right Medicare program. And a lot of people don't realize that if you move from county to county, you don't have to wait for the open enrollment. You can change Medicare plans right away.
Oh.
You don't have to wait for the open enrollment. The open enrollment is for people that are staying in place, but that is a qualifying event to change your Medicare because you've moved.
Right.
Because the plans vary from county to county.
Yeah, it's very complicated.
It is complicated, especially for a Brit. You know, it comes in. Hey, everything's free.
Right.
So yeah, it does get. Now, are you involved in any up and coming events?
So yes, we are very, very philanthropic. We just help support the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer. We were the first aid tent sponsor there. It was an amazing event. It was so great to see everybody out and about, and really, it was a beautiful day. We support the Alzheimer's Association. They just had a walk. Coming up, we are supporting the American Heart Association Heart Ball. It comes in April of 2022. We really want to be involved, especially in the healthcare nonprofit organizations. I mean, it's really important to show our support as a healthcare organization and be a part of those events. We like to support the Boys and Girls Club and, anything else that comes our way, just bring it to my attention and I will definitely want to support it because I feel it's very, very important to support the nonprofits. Yes. And it's just one of those things that Millennium's name really just wants to be on the board with.
Yeah. How long did you say that they've actually been here in Florida?
So Millennium came into the Northeast Florida region in May of 2018. So we're in year 3, and with the acquisition of some primary care organization or some primary care offices that were already in the Jacksonville area, that's how our growth up here began.
Yes, I mean it was quite obvious. Once you came in, it was like, here we go. Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another. Oh, look at that big building.
So, we're always recruiting new offices and new doctors to our practice, and doctors who really just want to be doctors and want to have that feel of independence that they are able to show their patients and spend that time with them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Accountable Care organization has a lot to say for people wanting to come and see what it's all about. You have a podcast.
I do have a podcast. I'm so happy you brought that up.
No, let's talk about it because it's a weekly radio show.
It is a weekly radio show. It airs on WOKV 104.5 FM on Saturdays at 5 p.m. It's called Inspiration Health Radio, and it really will cover just about any healthcare topic that's happening. I try to stay very much like Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Alzheimer's Awareness Month. This past weekend on WOKV, it was this past weekend, we talked about National Family Caregiver Month and holiday grief that's coming up. All very, very relevant topics. This weekend, we're going to be talking about cholesterol and lipids, and, I'm going to learn so much. But it's definitely a really great way to learn more. It's very conversational, and then it pushes out as a podcast on all your favorite podcast platforms. And it's been going since January of 2021, so we're almost a year into the podcast.
Well done.
And the radio show on WOKV.
Well done, because it's another way of getting information out to people, which I think is so important. And this is why we do what we do, because it's getting that information out there. How do people find out more about a Millennium Physician Group within their area?
So it's really easy. It's millenniumphysician.com. And
as long as you can spell millennium.
Millennium, I know.
I mean, there's a lot of
those words that's really hard. It's 2 L's and 2 N's. Millenniumphysician.com. There's a Find Your Location tab at the top. You can scroll down. Every city that we're in is listed. And then it will also connect you to any questions you have about Medicare. Our Medicare Connect page is also easy to access. If you have any Medicare questions, we're here to help. We have, over 50 providers in this area and 25 offices right now. So a lot in your region.
Thank you for coming in and explaining a little bit more about Millennium Physicians.
I appreciate it.
And don't forget, if you'd like to know any more information about anything that we discuss on caring for seniors, you can also go to iwannabuzz.com.
Absolutely, and this is an area that many of our veterans don't know about, but is so critical, especially with so many here in town. So for our veterans, the VA will actually help pay for assisted living. The basic requirements are you had to have at least 90 consecutive days of active duty during a declared war period. You didn't have to serve in theater. You could have been in Europe during Vietnam, but you had to have 90 consecutive days of active duty, and one of those had to correspond with a declared war period. That's your service requirement. Then you have to have a medical need for assisted living, and that's as simple as the doctor says you're a fall risk, and he wants you to use a cane or a walker. That alone can get you the medical need. And then the cost of the assisted living has to exceed your gross monthly income. That's not hard to do. And then you can't have more than $127,000 in liquid assets outside of a trust. The house doesn't count, and things that are protected in a trust don't count. So if you meet all those requirements, for a single veteran, the VA will chip in $1,900 a month toward the cost of assisted living. It's a significant benefit. For a married veteran, it's almost $2,300 a month. And the portion that really doesn't know about this benefit, the surviving spouses of our deceased veterans, the VA will chip in almost $1,250 a month for that. It's a difference maker and really can get some people that were in a very difficult situation into a safe one.
Greetings and welcome to another edition of Caring for Seniors. I am your host, Adrienne Houghton. Each week, I sit down with Dave Stieglitz, who is the president of Oasis Senior Advisors Jacksonville, and we discuss all aspects of senior living. Today is no exception, because today we're touching on the fact that we are deep into the festive season and certain things that we should be looking out for with our loved ones. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Adrienne. How are you?
I'm fine. So we said we were going to talk about the fact that here we are in the middle of the holiday season, and families are going to be getting together. What are some of the things that they should be looking for if they're worried about their loved ones?
Yeah. Sometimes, if you haven't seen mom and dad in a while and you go visit them and things, just don't seem quite the same. Maybe mom or dad was very detail-oriented and very fastidious about the bills, and have a little office that was always very neat and everything was always paid on time, and you go and maybe you see some mail that's stacked up, mail that's unopened, maybe some late notices of something, or it's just not quite right. Be on the lookout for that. Maybe mom's famous green bean casserole, and you sit down to dinner and it seems like there's something maybe left out of the green bean casserole. It's just not quite the same. Just things that are different. Maybe the yard was always very meticulously maintained and it's not so much anymore. Or the house is maybe starting to have some disrepair or not as clean as it used to be. Or look in the garage at the car. Are the corners being rounded off a little bit?
Oh gosh, you didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Different things. Watch their gait around the house. How are they getting around? Are they, is everything as it was? Are you starting to see different things? There's just little signs that maybe things aren't all well at home.
Yeah. Laundry stacking up, or
or not done properly.
Dishes.
Or there, dad's got his T-shirt on backwards or something like that. Any number of situations that it's just not what it was. We maybe need to talk about what's going on. Is this the safest and best environment? Is it time to just explore? Just because we explore doesn't mean we're making any obligation. Our service is free. There's no cost or obligation to talk. And as I always say, knowledge is power. If you don't know what's out there as an option, you can never make the decision to go do it. So we're all about, let me show you what options are, what could be out there, where could we get some help from, even if it's just starting to bring in some home health. Somebody coming in 4 hours a day, a couple times a week, to help clean up around the house, maybe prepare a few meals. You can start with a very simple help like that. But at some point, we ought to take a look at what's out there in the assisted living senior housing market.
Do you find that there's a lot of anxiety and stress that happens around the holiday season?
Yes, and there's a lot of anxiety and stress about that conversation too. Yeah. Sometimes, Dad won't hear of it. I've tried to bring it up, many times. It's like, I'm going to go out feet first from this house. Been in this house for 40 years. And nobody wakes up in the morning and says, hot damn, I'm going to assisted living today. It's not, but a lot of it is that paradigm of that generation is don't put me in the home
Yes.
because of what these places used to be like. And a lot of them have no idea what these communities have evolved into.
They're sort of like beautiful hotels now.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, if I can sit down and just have a conversation, sometimes I can say the same things that the adult children have been saying for years, but I'm an outsider.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden they'll listen to me. I mean, I've seen the jaws drop of the kids. You didn't say anything different than I've been saying. I said, no, I didn't, but it's coming from a different person. They're not going to listen to you. You're their kids.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell them what to do. But I can say the same thing. And if I can get them to agree, let's just go tour. Let's just go kick some tires. There's no obligation. There's no cost. And if I can get them out to tour, and we can take them to a couple communities, I see their eyes go, wow, this is nice, you know, and they can start and they see other people having fun, and they can start to see themselves there.
Yeah.
You know, until you put them in that environment, you know, they're at home and they're in that environment, they don't want to leave it. So,
right. So do you go in and talk to the children, or do you talk to the actual people, or both? And then you've got to get some sort of idea of what lifestyle they would like.
Yeah. I'd say half the time it's the adult children that reach out to me initially. Half the time it's the clients themselves. And if it's the adult children, you know, I pick their brains. So I have some basis of knowledge. Tell me about mom. Tell me about dad. Tell me what's going on. Is he a veteran? Is there the VA benefit potential in there, which is a huge difference maker for a lot of people. So I try to learn about that. And then usually they'll set up a meeting where I come to the house and they're there and we all sit and talk about it. And you know, and I kind of weave and, you know, go down the path and see where I can make some connection with them to develop that trust and see if we can just move forward again to explore. I just really push on that. There's no obligation. Let's just learn what's out there.
It's a challenge for everybody. It's not just the adult children. I mean, for you as well.
Yeah.
Going into not a hostile environment, but a reticent, perhaps, situation. How do you overcome that? How do you deal with those situations when you're faced with them?
Trying to listen for points that I can make a connection with. Trying to have empathy. Everybody's situation is different. Everybody's background is different. And just, you know, going in, first of all, being in their home where they're comfortable is easier than making them come to an office or somewhere where they're not comfortable.
Right.
So immediately they're in their own environment. You know, and I usually, you know, just some small talk, just try to make a connection. You know, how long have you lived in that house? Oh my gosh, what a great neighborhood and things, and just go from there. I am constantly amazed at how quickly seniors will open up, how inherently trusting they are. It's almost scary. I can see how they get abused because sometimes after about a 5 or 10 minute conversation, you know, they're opening up about their finances. They're opening up about all kinds of things that if I were going in a different direction, I could easily take advantage of. So it's almost sad, but the connecting part usually isn't difficult because seniors are a trusting and they want to talk to somebody about what's going on. They
always want to talk, don't
they? Yes.
Can't stop them talking. When you are offering them all the different options, do you also touch base about what benefits they're going to need or the costs involved? You mentioned veterans and how they have benefits that can be utilized. Do you have all that information at hand?
Yes. So assisted living in Northeast Florida can range from $2,000 a month to $10,000 a month. Okay. So I do try to, before I get in depth with specific communities, I do try to get a feel for their finances because I don't, you know, if their budget's $3,000, I don't want to talk about the $5,000 communities.
Because that's always the one you want, isn't it?
Right. So I want to be very respectful of my clients' finances, even if, you know, they have some equity in the house or they have some savings. I never want to place someone what I call upside down, where they're going in and it's costing them more than their current sustainable income, because they're at a certain health level now, and as their health declines and they need more help in the community, the costs will go up. Because you have your base room rate, but then there's care charges based on how much care you need. So let's save the equity in the house for when the care charges go up, so that we have that nest egg back there to fall on. So I want to be very careful and respectful of the finances. And I explore, you know, is there a veteran in the picture? Yes. VA benefits, you know, for a married veteran can be $2,300 a month. So now that $3,000 budget just went over $5,000. Okay, and a lot of the surviving spouses, they were married to a veteran at the time of their death. Their benefit of $1,250 is a difference maker, and most of them have no idea that that's available to them. So yes, we talk about the VA benefits. We talk about a path to Medicaid. If they have some savings, but it's limited, how do we get on that path, and which places are appointed with Medicaid, because not all are. How do they handle Medicaid, because they don't handle it in the same way. So there's a whole strategy of how do we transition from private pay to Medicaid. If you can go in private pay, there are many nice communities that will let you start private pay and transition to Medicaid as a retention device. But if you came on Medicaid at the beginning, they wouldn't talk to you. So there's so much things to navigate on that benefit side. Yes.
So many things. So we were talking. We started off talking about the fact that we're deep in the holiday season now. What are the things that you want to remind people?
Just watch. The conversation isn't easy, and I can fill that gap for you. Just to say, hey, I got a guy I want you to meet. He's an expert in senior housing and assisted living in Northeast Florida. Not that we're going there, but just to learn, just to have a conversation with him. Doesn't cost us anything. I just love to have that conversation and teach people what's out there and how you navigate it.
And so how can they get hold of you?
OasisJax.com is our website. Our office number is 904-386-5708, or iwantabuzz.com.
Yes, there we go. Thanks for coming in, Dave. It's always good to talk to you and find out more about Oasis.
Thanks, Adrienne.
And as David said, don't forget, you can always find out some more information about Oasis Senior Advisors at oasisjax.com or iwantabuzz.com.
Yes, that consultation is one of the critical steps where we will meet in person wherever they're comfortable meeting, whether that's in their home or a Panera Bread or a Starbucks. But that consultation, we find out first, what are the clinical needs? What's going on medically, if anything, that's causing you to make this leap? Tell me about mom. Is she a foodie? Is she crafty? Is she a gamer? Does she play cards? Is she spiritual? Is she into discussion groups? All these different things that we learn about the client during that time helps put together the whole picture, the tangibles that I spoke about, as well as the intangibles that are going to make that match. If this is where you're going to live for the next 10, 15, 20 years, let's make sure it's a place that you can engage and thrive, that we've done our homework. And that consultation is the critical starting point for that.
Welcome back, and I would like to take this opportunity of introducing you once more to the Oasis team. We've got David Stieglitz, the president of Oasis Jacksonville. We have Becky, we have Al, and we have
Shelly.
Hey! So this is your team, and they are here for you every step of the way. Dave, what would you like to say, if anyone...